on to another week. Last week was a good one for us. Post-game conference was pretty accurate in things that we had mentioned. We obviously had a great day for the military, which was awesome. I had a question from somebody that said they asked if the team understood what the day was for in the uniforms, and I mentioned that I made that real clear to the team a week ago, I guess now 2 weeks ago before we did it, and why we were doing it, and they all understood. So I thought it was a good learning opportunity for all of us and for the young people on our team. It was a great day for everybody. It's been overwhelming, the support and interest that the uniforms have brought with Justin Williams and our staff, and they did a tremendous job. So it was a good day for everybody. Moving forward now to West Virginia, got an early morning kickoff, and obviously they played really well last week. Went in and won in Manhattan. We all know it's a difficult place to play, and their defense has been good all year. When I started watching games on them, they've had a game or two that maybe they feel like they didn't play as good as they wanted to, but they've been very consistent. They get pressure with their down guys. They tackle really well. One thing I noticed right off the bat was they don't miss a lot of tackles. They're aggressive. They're playing well on defense. They gave up the 80-yard touchdown pass or 75-yard touchdown pass first play of the game, and then after that, I don't think that Kansas State scored a touchdown for maybe 3 quarters. I'm not for sure when they actually scored their other touchdown. So, and then offensively, I guess they found a quarterback they're comfortable with. They made the change, and young man that transferred, I think, from Bowling Green, played well for them, was effective with the football, took care of the football, and made enough plays to win. And so it was a good win for them, and we'll look forward to preparation this week and early morning kickoff out there in Morgantown.
After you look at the film, how did you feel the offensive line played against that defense? Did it seem like they were, because it looked like the defense was able to try to put a little bit more in the box, try to slow down Drew a bit times?
They were box heavy, and at times they did. You know, we hit him on a couple screens for almost 50 yards. Kind of goes unnoticed. You know, his total yardage for the game was 180 something, and people, you know, kind of considered it an average day. 180 total yards is a pretty good day for a running back. So that allowed us to get the ball down the field a little bit. Obviously, we hit him on a big pass play and hit him on some screens and such. But I thought our offensive line played just fine. We didn't break a lot of tackles in this game. We've broken more tackles in the last month than what we did. But for the most part, the offensive line played pretty good.
Earlier in the year, it seemed like when we talked about getting too many carries, that hadn't been a conversation the last few weeks. Mm-hmm. Is that just the bigger plays you're getting from other guys? Sure. It's taking that away from them?
It's worked to our advantage. We've won, which has been good, and we want to protect him. I mean, he had 23 carries, and he had however many catches, so he's still right around that 25, which should be a maximum. Sometimes it might be more, but if we're keeping him at 20 to 25, we're fairly comfortable.
Mike, with their quarterback, did you notice a whole lot of difference in what they did?
Not really.
Him?
No, Coach Brown has done the same thing for years. He does a good job of using the width of the field. They run a lot of screens. They stretch you. They'll throw the ball at the back out of the backfield, underneath and going side to side. And then about 1 out of every 10 plays, he's going to take a deep shot. So I didn't notice a lot of difference, but obviously the quarterback played well up in Manhattan.
Mentioned after the game that taking Spencer out was just precautionary. Is he back to normal now?
Yeah, he was out there with us last night. He's got a little brace on, and so he was out there with us last night.
Did he heard it earlier in the game. It's kind of been like a nagging thing, it seemed like, for him, but the ball he threw to Dylan Stoner came after the first time he showed up on the sideline shaking it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what the diagnosis is or what it's called or what he has or when it happened. But I was told that ball that he threw to Dylan was after the injury, so worked out pretty good.
What did you think of Drew when he came in? I know it seemed like, in fact, I got a call on my show this morning asking why you didn't open it up for him longer. I assume maybe that had something to do with less. Offense, it seemed like after he threw that touchdown pass, you had the game under control and didn't really stick a knife in less.
Yeah, we were up by, 30 or something. I'm not sure how many points we were up, and so we're going to let other guys play and get some experience and run the football. There's really no reason to throw the ball down the field. But we were pleased with Drew. Drew's been a great illustration of a culture here at Oklahoma State. And I mentioned this after the game. He actually was a captain in that game because of all the hard work and effort he's put in and the commitment he's had to our program. So we enjoy seeing him have success, and he came out and played well.
Weeks ago, when Sanders was having the term requirements, you said you got to put some things in place to help him with that. And then since then, he's been pretty good on turnovers. How do you like the way he responded to that rough patch of the season?
He's done well, and we implemented some ways to try to correct the issue. And I said up here a month ago, or whenever it was, 5 weeks ago, that in most cases those things don't happen overnight. He's been successful at what hurt him and our team in the middle part of the year, which is putting the ball on the ground. And we've worked hard on it and from a drill standpoint, and he's gotten better. He's starting to settle in at the position he's playing, has a better feel, and his ability to make decisions and then make adjustments on the sideline is getting better each week. Go ahead.
With Gleason being his first year, what have you seen out of him and helping Spencer's work through there?
I think they have a good relationship. Sean is a no-nonsense guy. He demands respect and accountability and tremendous work ethic for the players at that position. I've learned that just in him being here for 8 months or 9 months, however long he's been here. I guess longer than that, 10 months. And so those guys will learn to adapt to him, and I think that's helped Spencer. It's been good for him. It's a position that demands a lot of accountability, a lot of time, a lot of structure. And I'm fairly certain, if what I've seen in Sean, that's the way it's going to be to play quarterback here at Oklahoma State.
Mike, isn't another sign that Spencer's getting more comfortable? I think it might have been first series. You got some pressure, pocket started to collapse, but instead of just taking off and running, he stepped up and gave time for Dylan to come across.
That's right. He, early in the year, first thing that would happen is he would spread his hands. He's got the ball in one hand, and then he would start taking off. And he moved around a little bit. Dylan Kane opened and made a throw, and that's what guys do that start to get it at this level. You watch. I'm at home, and last night when I got home, Gunner got home. He's showing me highlights of the guy at LSU, the plays he made in the pocket with the ball in his hands, where he made a guy miss. He ducked under a guy, still had the ball in his hands, and made the throw. And we have those discussions, and Spencer and Drew, and obviously at my house. And so that's what quarterbacks do when they're good at it. That kid's become a master at it. And so those are things that Spencer had to improve quickly, because we all know when you put the ball on the ground, it's not going to help us win games. In fact, it's going to give us not a very good chance to win games. So he's improved in that area.
Was it easy to trust that he was going to fight through that because of his kind of nature, his competitive drive, things like that?
I think you don't have a choice. We had the discussions with him. He was able to take off and run around in high school and make plays and win a lot of games, and he's able to take off and run around in college and make plays. But the activity that goes on in the pocket for a quarterback that can't control the ball, based on those big guys who are trained to swat at the ball and punch at the ball. Watching the NFL, it's interesting when you watch those guys, and I know it's not college, but college guys watch NFL guys. They're rushing the quarterback, and there'll be a guy on them. They're just, all they do is reach out and try to hit the ball. They get $5,000-$10,000 for every time they cause a fumble. So they learn how to do it real fast. So the quarterbacks that cannot control the ball in the pocket with two hands and put it on the ground, in our opinion, have a hard time playing at this level. So he was eager to learn, willing to learn, has pushed hard and worked hard, but more importantly, you don't really have a choice.
How do you think Dylan Stoner and the other receivers have continued to adjust without Tylen on the field?
Well, they're doing a great job. It's obvious Dylan is a guy that's going to get a lot of passes. We've had to make some adjustments scheme-wise. When you lose an explosive player who's giving you about 135 or 40 yards a game, however many yards he was giving us, It's not easy to overcome that. You have to make some changes. Other guys have to do things that they're a little bit unaccustomed, and Dylan's done a great job. Wolf's been in there, and obviously Landon has given us a threat at the other side of the ball. And then the other guys are playing their role.
You talk about the play of the defense the last few weeks and kind of especially the generating turnovers.
In the game today, you win the turnover battle, you minimize big plays, and you tackle well. Particularly in this league, it gives you a chance to win. If you don't, you can look at just about everybody in this league, and it gives you a chance to lose. And our guys are playing well. I think that Coach Knowles and the staff are starting to get a little more accustomed to this league in the schemes and different style of play that we have. I think that's getting instilled in the players. I think they're getting a little more accustomed, and they're all working together. And the other thing you have to remember is last week was really the first week that they were healthy. I mean, we were had some serious issues health-wise up the first of the year. I mean, we were one deep at linebacker, both spots. And then Devin started to come back, and then he broke his hand or whatever he did to his hand. That was after he'd sat out for 5 weeks. And then Eamon, whatever he did. And then we had issue with Trey, and then Peel has been hurt on and off, and Evers has been hurt, and Tyler Lacey. We had some issues that we really couldn't function very well as we were trying to make some adjustments throughout the season. Last week was the first week that we really had a 2 deep that could practice full speed. So they've done a nice job just keeping their head above the water with not having a lot of guys to practice with the first 6 or 7 weeks of the season.
Trace Ford was a big disruptor in high school, but when you guys put him into the starting lineup, did you expect him to have this much of an impact this first season?
Not as a freshman. He's done well. He's made the adjustment. So far, he hadn't hit the wall. Most true freshmen that play as much as he has in games will hit a wall at some point. They just get tired. And practice is hard. It's more than they've ever had. Lifting's difficult. The games are exhausting. The wear and tear of a season, school, all those things. And he's handled himself really well. He was in 40 plays last week. That's about where he ought to be for his age and the youth. But I didn't anticipate him being this disruptive as a true freshman.
Talked about being impressed with him when he was playing center field. That was kind of a climb the wall center field play he made on the interception.
Yeah, it was. I watched him play several times in baseball where he played the outfield and could run and had good eye-hand coordination and could catch and then stole bases. He was stealing bases in high school. And so very, very impressive athlete. And then you saw that on the sidelines. Yeah.
What do you think sets him apart where he's able to not hit that wall and kind of do what other freshmen do?
I don't know. If you and I could bottle that up, we could retire. We could put it out there. It's most freshmen that play in their first year just kind of hit a wall. It's just a lot. They're away from home, living on their own. As much education as we give them, probably not going to sleep when they should. There's a lot of distractions, and he's done very well. And there's a reason that he's able to be productive. We have to push really hard this week. We have to push really hard next week, and then they get a little bit of a break. They can kind of catch their breath.
I just like Kobe always getting these. Is that something you can recruit?
Same
in practices?
Same formula. You and I could bottle that up. We wouldn't be working anymore. He's always around the ball when it's on the ground or gets tipped. It's crazy. It's like Sean Lewis was years ago for us. We used to joke about it that if there's ever a tip ball or somebody fumbles it, Sean Lewis is standing around there to pick it up or catch it. And that's what's happened with him. He's just in the right place at the right time a lot, but he also capitalizes on it. Some young men don't catch it, don't make those catches. See, that one catch he had was not an easy catch. That ball was coming fast, it was tipped, and it was behind him. So he's in the right place at the right time, but he also capitalizes on his opportunities. And, I had a caller this morning on my Big 12 call and talked about all conference. I don't think now with his numbers that's any question. I think he may have even more than that with the numbers he's got. It's pretty phenomenal for the position he plays. So we're proud of him. He's worked hard. He was a freshman last year and kind of hit a wall. He got fatigued, and the last 2 or 3 regular season games he was tired, wasn't near as productive, and then he had a little break, and in the bowl game he played really well again.
Earlier this season, both you and Knowles, when talking about Trace Ford, said he was kind of probably more athletic than Jordan Brailford, but he just kind of lacked that experience. Are you starting to see all of the experience he's getting this year, that aspect of his game starting to improve, to go hand in hand with the athleticism?
Well, he's 10 games into it now. It's interesting when you watch a young man. It's like with Chuba. Chuba's only 13 games into his career. That's it. That's all he's played. Maybe half of another game. I don't know what it was, 13 and a half. But see, Trace is 10 games into it, so he's obviously better than he was in the first month. And they get better and better at it. And then as he gets a break in a couple weeks where he can catch his breath, and then our practice routine is not near what it is during the season, they even start to get a little better. Just what happened to Colby last year in the bowl game.
You look at Chuba, everybody can see the long runs and speed.
Mm-hmm.
What is it we don't see that makes him a good running back?
Well, there's off the field, there's two things. He's humble and he's unselfish. That gives him a chance to continue to work hard and not think that he's arrived. Fortunately, I've been around a lot of really good players in my 30 years of football, and a lot of guys that, not a lot, some guys that think they arrive and they don't continue to get better because your natural instincts don't allow you to push and work hard. So off the field, he's got that. He's quiet and to himself. He's humble. He's unselfish. He's powerful, and he's highly intelligent. So we can do a lot of different things with him. We don't do a lot with him right now, just based on we try to protect him a little bit. I know people are saying, well, you let him carry the ball 30 times or 25, but we're really trying to protect him because we should throw the ball more to him. I don't know what his yards per catch is, but it's pretty good. That's a different way for a running back to approach the game. You're looking this way, getting the ball, you take hits, different things. So I'm a little concerned about that. That's why we don't throw the ball to him as much as we should. But he's very powerful. He's highly intelligent, and he has the ability to make a move 5 yards away from a guy, and he knows how that move ties in with his speed, that guy can't tackle him. Like, everybody's different runners. Like Barry Sanders would get right in your face and make a move, and you couldn't touch him. Chuba makes his moves 5-6 yards away from a guy, even if it's like this and he goes this way, and then that guy can't catch him because he knows how fast he is. Those are the things that make him a special back.
He told me last week too, he's a prolific sleeper, which puts him in the same category with the guy you handed the ball to, who was known for his sleep habits.
Well, we know now with all the science out there that sleep is a proven, known value to all of us at any age, much less these athletes whose bodies are being fatigued every day. And I'm guessing that's a big part of it for him to stay healthy. But there's no doubt that your body, your brain, and your physical aspects of your body rehabilitate when you're sleeping. So I was unaware of that. I need whatever he's taking to sleep.
You say only 13 games in his career, so what's his next step? Where's his next improvement going to come?
Well, he's got a lot of improvement, and at times as coaches we say that, and people say, "Oh, you're just saying that because you don't want him to go to the NFL." I don't have anything to do with his decision of when he wants to go to the NFL. I just know that he has a long ways to go in preparing himself to make that jump and be successful at that level. On some of the things that we talked about, the big one is this: he's only played in 13 college games, and we all know that at the next level, that is a man's game, and the running backs take an enormous amount of hits. And for a young man to make that step, he's got to really be ready. And so, regardless of what decision he and his family make, that there's a lot of things he can work on. One is maturity. Two is getting, a 23-year-old is going to be a better addition to an NFL team than a 21-year-old. And so that would be the most important part for his development, in my opinion.
On Tuesdays we see him. He's the last guy across the street, and he says he's working a lot on
coming this way.
Coming over.
He's working on ball drills and a bunch of stuff like that. That goes back. I didn't want to waste y'all's time and get off on some kind of a rant on his work ethic and all that, but it's pretty well stated that he puts a lot of time in. And he developed himself in the strength and conditioning room with Coach Glass in the first year when he was redshirting big time. So he stays over there, catches balls, works on a few other things. I don't know what he does down there. But, it's just the way it is. Guys that put their time in like that, they're the ones that end up being successful.
How beneficial was it for him to have Justice, and then how beneficial can it be for those young backs that you have right now to have Chuba?
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs a mentor and somebody to lead the way. And the other thing it did is it kept him healthy. So when Justice went down, Chuba was the guy. So he started taking all those hits the last 3.5 games of the year. If Justice wasn't hanging around and Chuba was getting hit last year 3 or 4 times more than he was now, his body wouldn't be the same as it is now. There's only so many hits in all of our bodies. And that has helped him and helped keep him fresh. And we've got a couple guys that LD's starting to play better, and we've got a couple guys in the program we're excited about that. Chuba comes back next year, his carries will be reduced. People will go crazy and say, "Why is that?" Well, there is a certain aspect to us protecting them as long as we're productive and winning to give them the best chance to play for a long time in the NFL if that's what the young man decides to do.
Dylan Galloway is a guy who seems like every time he's starting to get things really going, he has an injury issue, whether it's spring or...
Did he get hurt?
No.
I thought you were going to tell me he got hurt. You guys usually know before me. I mean, a lot of times people call me and I didn't even know he got hurt. Somebody said he got hurt.
No, he seems to have bounced back pretty well from... I mean, you kind of had to push him into action with some injuries.
Yeah, he's a really unique young man. His nickname's Big Sleepy. Because he always looks like he's asleep. And it's interesting. He plays better than you think he's going to play every game. I think he came back at Iowa State from his injury. And we were really concerned about him because he didn't practice. He got in and he played better that game than he did any game. And he hadn't even practiced. So he's a very talented young man. He has a lot of talent. He hasn't even scratched the surface of how far he can go based on his talent level. He's just starting to get accustomed to, hey, I need to work a little harder. There's a reason that we call him Big Sleepy. And so the sky is the limit for him. And he just always plays a little better than what people think he would.
The game got a little bit chippy toward the end. Were you impressed? Because your guys,
I told
other
him
than
that.
maybe Johnny Wilson.
Yeah, I told him that, and I mentioned it in the post game that we said in July and August, I guess I said that we needed to greatly reduce our non-combative 15-yard penalties, which are just dumb penalties that you don't get anywhere, right? Guys start talking trash and hit a guy in the side of the head, he's got his helmet on. I mean, where are you going to get with that? So, and we have done a really good job. I will give the team credit that they have cut back considerably. They had 3 chances and maybe 4 in the last game to throw a blow to try to fight back. And that happens with teams. I said it afterwards. You're losing, you get discouraged, you get upset. But we're not in a position that we need to do that, and we certainly need to learn from last year's mistakes that took us out of a couple games.
Not sure if you watched Mason's game Thursday night, but do you have any thoughts on that whole scenario? That
it'd take forever, but I don't, I guess I disagree with everybody. I don't know if I've ever even seen anything like that ever in football. So very disappointing. I don't know. I tried to think back of when I've even seen guys get helmets yanked off, and I remember 2 or 3, but they throw it like down the field or something, like, oh, I didn't know this would happen. So there's been enough said about it. I'm sure that the NFL will handle it the right way, but I have not seen anything like that ever in sports. It's an unfortunate situation.
You communicated with Mason usually?
Yeah, he's good. He's had a lot of things happen to him in a short time, in 2 months. So he's getting accustomed to the NFL real quick. He's taken a lot of hits. The only guy that's ever been hit with a helmet, I think, on top of the head in NFL. And he's back at it. And he's handled it right. He's competitive, He's trying to hold his own there, and so he'll be fine. He'll come around.
Tell him if he's going to get in the fight, make sure his helmet's on.
I don't know if he had any idea that was going to come off, but if it comes off, you go the other way.
Yeah, I'm saying he went to the...
Yeah. Go the other way if you don't have a helmet on. But the heat of the moment for that situation, and I'm sure for Miles too. But that's just that's a hard one to swallow.
have anything in place to be able to watch Friday's semifinal game?
That's a tough one for me. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I guess I'll just kind of feel my way through it. We're playing on the East Coast at 11 a.m. So, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do. Hadn't got that far. I'm still deep into West Virginia film and all that. But at some point, obviously, I'll have to make a decision.
You fly straight to Morgantown, what's the private jet or whatever?
I never have, but if that's something that I did, that's what I would do. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Those are tough decisions. I have not done that yet during Gunner's 4 years. I've not stayed behind and watched a game. It's a little different because he's a senior, but I'll have to try to work through that and see what's available and what direction, what to do.